Welcome to Mrs. Buff's Kitchen, where we test the recipe so you don't have to. Welcome back to Mrs. Buff's Kitchen. We are here today to share with you a nice ham and bean and cornbread casserole bake from BettyCrocker.com. Make sure you go to mrsbuffskitchen.com to check out the full recipe and the link to the original recipe. Also, you can expect the prep time for this recipe to be 15 minutes with bake time at about 20 minutes with a total overall time of 35 minutes. This recipe calls for 2 cups of diced cooked ham. It's also nice for leftover ham from Mother's Day or Easter or any other get-together. You'll also need 1 cup of barbecue sauce, 1 medium chopped onion, 1 can of great northern beans, which are the whitish type beans, also a can of dark red kidney beans, and 1 can of black beans. All of these need to be rinsed. Next, you'll need 2 pouches of the Betty Crocker cornbread and muffin mix. I use the generic kind because I'm a cheapo. And you'll also need 2/3 cup of milk, 1/4 cup of butter or margarine, and 2 eggs. You'll also need this handy dandy non-stick spray to spray on your 13 by 9 cooking dish, which is where we will bake this recipe. Now, first and foremost, we have to set your oven to 400 degrees. Preheat it. I've already done that, so I'm ahead of the gun on that one. And then the next step is just warming up the beans and ham and barbecue sauce. Okay, so in a saucepan, what you're going to do is over medium-high heat, heat up your beans, your ham, and I already have it heated, as you can hear. Put all your beans in there. Your barbecue sauce. I use KC Masterpiece because, well, I'm from KC, and you have to go with KC Masterpiece. And then you'll put in your onions. I already have some pre-chopped onions. But you want to use about the size of a small onion. I tend to use a little less onion because everybody in my house, except for me, hates onions. So I adjust my recipe accordingly. So from now on, so what we'll do is we'll go ahead and let this heat up. We'll mix it, stir it all together. And we just want to heat it enough so it's heated through. And while we do that, we're going to go ahead and move on to the cornbread mixture. Okay, for the cornbread mixture, what we'll do is get out a large bowl and we'll mix the cornbread muffin mix, the 2/3 cup of milk, your melted butter, which is 1/4 cup of melted butter, and your 2 eggs. Once again, as always, make sure you wash your hands before you start your cooking and after you do this egg mess because nobody wants salmonella. So we're going to take a quick break for me to wash these eggy hands and I'll come back and get that stirred. Okay, I have nice clean hands and I'm just going to go ahead and mix this all together just until it's moistened. It will be lumpy. I just want to make sure the egg's all broken up in there. It doesn't need to be nice, smooth mixture like, say, a cake mixture, just all moistened. So that's good. This will do, and we'll go ahead and check on our bean mixture, see if it's heated all through. And then while you're doing this at home, you can make sure you stir it every once in a while so that way the bottom doesn't get burnt. So we'll go ahead and check that out. Follow me over. Ooh, it's bubbling. It's a good sign it's heated through. It's always a good sign if it's boiling. That probably means it's pretty hot. So what we're going to go do is put this bean mixture in our prepared sprayed with non-stick baking spray dish. and put the cornbread mixture on top of that. So let's go ahead and go on to the next step. Okay, so what we're doing right now is putting the bean mixture in our saucepan. Go ahead and dump it all out. See, I didn't mix it enough because I was talking to you guys and some of the beans got stuck at the bottom, but that's okay. Nobody ever cried over burnt beans. Now I can think of some other things people have done with burnt beans, like smelly things, but we don't need to talk about that because we're making food. So let's go ahead and get to the cornbread part. Okay. Now this part is a little tricky because you want to spread it over the top, but you don't want it really mixed in. So you just go ahead and get it spread over the top as best as you can. I like to do it in parts because otherwise I'm stuck with one big lob in the middle, and that's no good. So go ahead and get it all spread out. And as you can see, so far this has been really an easy recipe. The hardest part, getting it prepared, I don't know, it's a toss-up between cutting the onion and taking the lids off the cans of beans. And if those are the hardest parts of the recipe, then this is a pretty easy recipe. And it's also nice because it's just, you can put it in the oven and bake it. I'm a casserole freak. I think if you're like me, if you're a mom and you're busy, it's nice to make casseroles and put them in the refrigerator or freeze them beforehand and then let them thaw the day of. So when you get home from work, all you have to do is put it in the oven for 20 minutes and you're done. So I'm all about casseroles. Now, as you see, we've completed the pre-cooked dish. And what we'll go ahead and do is put that in the oven for 20 minutes. And in 20 minutes, well, in your time, it'll be like a second. We'll check back and see what it looks like. Make sure you set that timer. If you're like me, I forget, and all of a sudden, 30, 40 minutes later, I start smelling something, and I'm like, what was that? Oh, that's what I was just cooking. So set that timer for 20 minutes, and I'll see you in a second. Okay, so this is our nice ham and 3-bean bake. Now notice when you go to my blog at mrsbuffskitchen.com, and if you click on the link to the actual recipe at bettycrocker.com, they give you some great suggestions of adding like your favorite kind of cheddar cheese on top of the bake. Just add it on once it's done cooking and put it back in the oven for another couple minutes just until it's melted. So you can do some fun things like that also to spice it up and give it a little extra kick. Now what we're going to go ahead and do is do a taste test with me and my son Jordan. We're going to figure out if it's mom approved and kid tested. Or is it mom tested, kid approved? I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Hi, this is my son Jordan, also known as Jordy, and he is going to be my kid taste tester today. So I'm going to go ahead and take a test and let you know what I think of it. Not biased or anything, I didn't make it. Let's go ahead and get a little bit of everything in that bite. That's good. Let's see if Jordan likes it now. Let's see if it is kid approved. It's hot. Okay, it's hot.
It's good.
It's good. I don't know how to take that. You said it was hot, but I think he was more surprised by the onion that was in that bite. I told you they don't like onions. But no, this is really good. I love it a lot. So put this recipe on your list of things to try. I think it'll be a keeper. Well, this week we found out some things can be mom approved, but just not kid approved. Thank you so much for joining me on Mrs. Buff's Kitchen this week. And remember, check out the full recipe at mrsbuffskitchen.com. See you again soon. It's still all hot. I gotta get cooled off. 3 blows and you're good. That's what my mom always said. Don't put that on there. Take it off.